Hi guys, thank you so much for sending all your questions through yesterday. I just was about to start filming the video at home, and of course next minute somebody started demolishing house right across the road. So I just decided that I will just drive somewhere and park in a quiet place and answer all your questions. So question number 1. I usually exercise 6 times a week, and I will break it down day by day for you, what I'm doing on a certain day. For example, on Monday I'm doing body weight kind of HIIT cardio, and I'm usually either doing it at the gym by myself. It's a full body session, like I never really do any splits. So it is a kind of a full body session. If I'm not at the gym, not doing my own thing, I would usually go to F45. If you're from Australia, you definitely know what it is. It's been popular over the past couple of years, and it is a functional training, 45 minutes. It is interval style of training. So for example, you would work for 45 seconds and on and 15 off, and depending on the number of exercises you do in a certain amount of rounds, well, you usually go 45 minutes, and it is either 45 on 15 off, or 20 on 10 off, 30 on 10 off, etc. Or so sometimes, if it's a really tough session, it can be a minute on and like 20 seconds off. Mainly I'm trying to opt for body weight sessions, or like with lighter weights. What I found, my body doesn't really respond well to weights, and that's just my personal thing, that's my personal preference. All right, so on Tuesdays I'm usually doing body attack class. If you have been following me for a long time, you definitely know that I'm a huge fan of Les Mills group fitness classes, and back in the days I decided to do my certificate 3 purely because I was such a massive fan of body attack and I wanted to teach that. But then later on I decided to become a personal trainer, and I went with my education further, but I will probably tell about that a little bit later. Wednesday. On the Wednesday I'm usually either doing a 45 again, or I'm doing a lower body session at the gym where I'm using a little bit heavier weights. What I mean by heavier, for some people they might sound like super light, but for me it is the heaviest I can ever lift. And I usually emphasize and do my focus on my glutes and my hamstrings, because I'm quad dominant and my quads grow like crazy. You can probably relate. A lot of girls can relate to that. Yeah, so I'm usually doing that booty session on Wednesdays, and after that I would usually do a little bit of cardio, like 15 or 20 minute cardio with the high incline treadmill, like just kind of a power walk with a high incline, maybe like on 7 or 6 kilometers per hour speed. Nothing crazy, you know. Then on Thursday I'm doing body attack again, and here I think I need to, it is a little bit tricky. Well, so now at the moment it looks like that, but before I used to focus more on weight training, whereas now more about functional, plyometric and agility based workouts. So I'm just basically going back to my roots, and I started doing body attack class more often. So on Thursday I'm doing body attack class because I feel amazing after that. Well, it is body weights, it is a body weight session. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people think it's not that effective. It just all depends on your goals. For my personal goals, for my personal well-being, and for my energy levels, that is the best. So that is why I'm doing body attack twice a week, and I'm contemplating doing it 3 times a week. We will see. So Thursday is for body attack. So today is Thursday and I did body attack today, and I feel, of course I feel awesome. I always feel so good after, even though I might hate it in the moment when I'm doing that, but after I'm always feeling uplifted. On Friday it is usually either gym for glutes again and that little power walk afterwards, or lately I've been trying this booty bar class. I've tried it before, I didn't really like it, but I decided to give it another go, and you know what, I fell in love. It looks easy, but it really is not. I love the static kind of workouts, and there you just like use a lot of static moves. So you just like doing some kicks, kickbacks or side kicks, and you're holding that, and you're purely using your body weight, but somehow it just challenges you in a good way. So I might do another booty bar class tomorrow, and I think I will definitely make it good tradition to do this class at least once a week. On Saturdays I'm doing a Hollywood session with F45, you have already heard that, but on Saturdays they're doing this killer crazy madness kind of session. So it lasts an hour instead of usual 45 minutes, and in that hour they pack all the killer exercises they know, and you never do the same thing over again. So like each Saturday it's different, it's a total killer each Saturday. And it is so challenging because you're doing all the different exercises each Saturday, so your body can't adapt to that. So yes, it's pretty intense. So on Saturdays I'm doing that, and on Sunday it is my rest day, when I'm not doing anything. I'm just either going for a power walk along the beach if the weather is nice. How do I answer this question? I will probably start from a little story. 4 years ago, pretty much 4 years ago, when I started exercising after having my son when he was 1 year old, I will touch on that subject a little bit later. It was pretty easy to feel motivated because I saw the first results pretty quickly because I was so determined. I jumped into the exercising 5 or 6 times a week. I was pretty good with my food, and I just instantly felt so good, and I saw those results so quickly. So that was the first motivation to keep me going. When I saw the first results, I just didn't want to lose this feeling. I was like a fitness addict. I was hooked on that feeling, and I was hooked on how my body is changing, and I just didn't want to miss out on anything. So I was basically training for looks. And I still am, to be honest. Yeah, so it was definitely easier to exercise back then and to find that when I just started. So that is why I'm sometimes so jealous of people who just start off the fitness journey. And I usually say enjoy for as long as you can, because this feeling is not gonna last forever. Then you're gonna find something that will get you out of bed, or that particular thing that will drag you to the gym and will make you do that consistently. That's the key, you know that, like you've heard it so many times. Consistency is the key. If you're training consistently, you're gonna get those results and everything is gonna be amazing. Anyway, so it's at a certain point of my life, maybe it wasn't just the gym thing, maybe it was all my personal issues I was going through. I just lost my motivation, and I let myself go, and I was skipping training, and my nutrition wasn't on point, far from it. But then I just trained myself to do that consistently. So no matter what, no matter how I was feeling, no matter if I wanted to exercise or not, no matter what, just like I brush my teeth and have shower every day, I just made myself go to the gym, no matter what my mood was like. And you know what, that helped, because when you have probably noticed that as well, sometimes you don't feel like exercising, but you still go and smash that session, and then all the magic happens because you instantly feel so good, you feel so much better. So for me now, my main motivation is, of course, my discipline, because I train myself to exercise 6 times a week, and if I'm not doing that, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and I don't really feel that well. That's the first thing. And second thing, and it's probably the main thing, it is my post-workout feeling. I keep saying that balance is the key, but I sneakily try and test out every single diet out there on myself. Not that I'm not happy with my looks, I'm also not happy with the way I feel sometimes. My energy levels are not consistent. Sometimes I experience severe bloating every single day. I feel like I'm always bloated no matter what I'm eating, so that is why I'm trying every single eating style out there to help myself somehow. And so that was the reason why I decided to try keto diet, to maintain my energy levels and to like even elevate them. and to relieve my bloating problem. And I also had a few issues with my skin and hormones, and actually ketogenic diet fixed that. But I'm not following the ketogenic diet anymore as such, but I would say my diet is pretty much high fat, high protein and low carb, but with more starchy vegetables and with more fruit in my diet, because I go crazy when I don't have any sweets. And I also like to whip up some ketogenic desserts, and I probably eat them way too often, definitely not once a week. But you know, it works well for me. I didn't like it hasn't cured my bloating problem completely, but it definitely got so much better. And my energy levels, that was the main thing. My energy levels are pretty consistent, my energy levels are pretty stable, and as a result I think I lost a little bit of weight as well, but it mostly was water weight, like, you know, this horrible feeling when you have this water retention and you seem like nothing helps with that. So if you experience this similar kind of troubles, I would recommend you to try this ketogenic diet out, but of course, like, you need to consult with your doctor first if you have any specific issues. But for me, it definitely helped me a lot with all my questions, with all my troubles I'm in. And yeah, so now I'm following a kind of a ketogenic diet, but way more relaxed, with more vegetables, with a little bit higher level of carbs, but in a form of fruit and veg. I would put it like that. I have a couple of favorite cheat meals, and since I am the biggest sweet tooth out there, I honestly don't even know another single person who would be so crazy for anything sweet. My favorite cheat meal would be either cheesecake or Tim Tams. But I can't even remember last time I had Tim Tams, because lately, and that helps a lot actually, lately I've been baking a lot. So I made it like a little tradition. So every Saturday or even every Friday night, depending on the recipe, I would whip up something healthy, no sugar. So I would use stevia powder as a sweetener, and I would definitely use gluten-free flour, because my child can't have gluten, he can't have sugar, so I kind of have to keep up with the little man. And yes, I'm usually cooking something, it's not necessarily low in calories, but it's just sugar-free and gluten-free, so we can both indulge and enjoy. Yeah, so that helps a lot. So I've been cooking a lot of cheesecakes lately. These, or sometimes I really love chocolates, no matter what kind of chocolates. Remember a couple of posts back I asked you what is your most favorite chocolate, and I was like, oh, I love the dark chocolate with orange, whatever. But the reality is, no matter what kind of chocolate is in front of me, I will eat it. It doesn't matter whatever is the cacao percentage count or what flavor it is, I will demolish the whole thing in a heartbeat. It is pretty much the same day in and day out. So for breakfast, for example, I would have two options. First option would be like scrambled eggs cooked with butter. Oh my goodness, yes, I love cooking them with a little bit of butter. And that's totally fine. That's part of a ketogenic diet, you know. That's that part I really like about this diet. Anyway, so I would have 2 scrambled eggs and half avocado or smashed pumpkin. Oh my goodness, I love pumpkin so much. If only you knew. I just love this. I think it's called Japanese pumpkin in Australia, and I just bake it with a little bit of curry powder and sea salt, and then I smash it, and it is unbelievable. Otherwise, I would have my ketogenic mug cake. I think I've posted the recipe so many times in my stories. You have definitely screenshotted that and have probably definitely tried it. I hope so. If you tried that, comment below. But yeah, that's my breakfast. And for lunch, I will usually have, I really love salmon, so I will have some salmon with broccoli, and I'm trying to include a lot of vegetables in order to keep my fiber up, if you know what I'm talking about. And for dinner, I would usually have either the same, like for example, if I had salmon, I would have some kind of white fish. I can't really have chicken, which is such a shame because I really love chicken breast, but it just gives me this weird stomach sensation, tolerate that, so I just had to stop eating chicken. Sometimes I can have a little bit of beef mince or lamb mince, and for a snack I usually have something like protein balls or a protein shake, just depending on what my protein intake looked like during the day. I usually keep it simple, like for example protein bar or a piece of fruit. Nah, who am I kidding? I don't really have a piece of fruit. I would much rather have a little bit of nuts because they're more calorie dense and they don't bloat me. It totally resonates with my entire approach to fitness and healthy lifestyle, because I am a firm believer that your mind is your biggest friend. Because it's not about the physical stuff, it's not about how physically strong you are or how much motivation you have and how strong is your willpower, but actually willpower, that's your mind. Everything is in your head, and if you set your mind right, you can totally kill it. You can do absolutely anything, and you can reach whatever your goals you set for yourself if your mind is healthy and if you are totally in peace with yourself mindfully. I have already briefly mentioned my bloating problem, and that is a really big problem for me, and it has been a problem for me for a long time, especially after having my child and after hitting 30. So for myself, I've basically solved this problem with the help of ketogenic diet. Not even a ketogenic diet, because it wouldn't be fair, because I don't really follow it as strictly now, but I definitely try to keep my fats up and keep my proteins up and my carbs as low as I can. I just make sure I eat enough fiber, so which is why I have a lot of vegetables on a daily basis, and I would have a little bit of fruit because I'm an absolute fan of smoothie bowls. You have probably seen that in my Insta stories. And also eating small portions really help with the bloating problem if you experience such a problem. For me personally, it is really hard because I'm a big eater. For me, it's either everything or nothing at all. So I just basically had to train myself to eat really small portions because I enjoy this unbloated feeling. And I know for a fact that if I have a big meal, I will definitely be bloated, no matter how low carb or whatever it is. I will feel bloated straight away just because I ate too much food. And sometimes it's really hard to control yourself. It has all started 4 years ago for me. My son Leon, he was 13 months back then. And I remember this moment as if it was yesterday. I looked at myself in the mirror and I nearly cried. I was breastfeeding my son for 13 months and I was sleep deprived. I wouldn't sleep for longer than an hour without waking up because Leon was a bad sleeper, and he still is, to be honest. So I didn't really have time or energy to look at myself and to estimate the damage to my body. But after I stopped breastfeeding and Leon started sleeping a little bit better and he stopped waking up every single hour, I just looked at myself and I thought something needs to be done with this body. And as I decided that, next day I joined the gym, and I found the gym with a creche. So that's the special room in Australia, in Australian gyms, where you can put your child while you exercise. So they usually work from 9 a.m. to until 12 p.m. Because Leon didn't go to any childcare or kindy or anything like that, and we didn't have any relatives. I was married back then, but my ex-husband was working 24/7. He never was there, so like I basically had nobody to look after Leon. So that was a real lifesaver. So I would drop Leon off at that child's room and I would go into every single class possible. So I was exercising maybe 6 or 7 times a week. My nutrition was on point. I saw the first results pretty quickly, and that's where everything started. and I was so much in love with one specific class, Body Attack, and I still do that. I was so much in love that I decided to become an instructor myself, and I went and finished the course. But along the way, I think I have already said that, along the way I have decided to become a personal trainer, so I did another course, another personal training course, and I became a personal trainer. So yeah, so that's how I got into fitness. No, I am not in a relationship. I have been single for more than 3 months now, and my previous relationship was beautiful. It was a really lovely person. It was such a lovely guy, but it wasn't just right for me. I guess when you know what you want, that's the moment when everything becomes more complicated.